That's a great point. It's a one size fits all.
Yes.
Which really is outdated.
It's not going to work anymore either because of the way the industry is changing. People don't want to be sold anymore. People want to be seen. I wanted to create a system for the few loan officers and realtors out there who wanted to do business my way. And I know that you can do it the proven way, centered on discipline and accountability. But I also think there's another way to do this that can feel a lot more authentic to you and a lot more genuine to the person on the other side.
Today, I'm joined by Shivani Peterson. First time on the podcast. Long time here at All Western Mortgage. She's a top producer, an amazing individual. You're going to want to stick around because we have some exciting news to share with you. Shivani, thank you for joining. Welcome.
I've been waiting for my invitation. I've never been to the corporate office before. Like, this is a big day.
This is exciting. I'm thrilled. Look, you're known as a top producing loan officer here at AWM, but I wanted to know a little bit more about what's behind the numbers and tell me a little bit about what your mission is.
So I've been at this as a loan officer for 12 years, but I really wasn't a top producer for the first 5 years or so. I had a great first year in the industry, but it was doing FHA streamline refinances and I was killing it. And I thought it was always going to be that way. Then I started having kids and the value of my time kind of shifted and what I wanted to focus my energy on. And I had a couple, 4 or 5 tough years of not really knowing who I was in the business or how I wanted my business to run, what I wanted it to look like, how I wanted to try to have any sort of work-life balance. And then I started making certain shifts that definitely helped me get on that top producers list. And then after that, there was even more shifts that came because I think what happens for loan officers in our industry is we've been told a certain formula to success forever. And for some of us, it just doesn't resonate. It feels inauthentic to what we really want to do. And when I sat down and thought about what kind of loan officer I really wanted to be or why I do this job, I realized that I would be much more likely to succeed if I had a mission that I was working towards. I have now, and it's taken me years to craft it, but I figured out why I'm a loan officer is because I want to help people break through socioeconomic barriers. And I think that real estate investing is the best tool to do that.
So I want to go back to this kind of your evolution, I guess is the best way to put it. Because today you appear to be and are a very polished loan officer, a polished individual in the business. And it's not just mortgage. You're involved in a lot of things. I've attended some of your events, your female first type thought process in terms of different organizations that you're involved in. Mom of 3, wife, all the things you are. But you didn't get there overnight. There was a process and there were years of you evolving. Tell me a little bit about that.
It was really trying to figure out how am I going to do this business differently? How am I going to do it in a way that feels like I'm not a used car salesman selling an interest rate and selling mortgages or selling whatever product is popular at the moment? Because I did that. I did that business where I sold interest rates and I did a ton of FHA streamline refinances. But what I learned is the market's going to change, right? And if you are only selling an interest rate or a specific product like a refinance, then you're going to get slapped upside the head over and over and over. I wanted to think of what would make me feel inspired to do what I do, to keep showing up in my business. What would inspire me to sell what I need to sell? And I had to get behind a mission. And for me, I think that in our country, there's a perceived lack of mobility that, your financial future depends on the family you were born into or the degree you get or certain advantages that are just set in stone that some people have and some people don't. But I've learned over time that real estate investing actually breaks through all of those, that home ownership changes the course of people's lives and that they can use this thing that I happen to sell to have more mobility in society and to break through these financial barriers. Once I started looking at my job like that, I thought, oh, I could make this do anything. And so I'm a feminist. I believe the future is female, and I believe that in a specific way. I think when women do better, families do better, neighborhoods do better, communities do better. I think it's systemic. It's not men versus women. It's when women do better, men do better, everyone does better.
Yeah.
So I started what you were mentioning, which is the future is female. And I started an online brand that was very focused on speaking to women and empowering them financially.
So there's obviously a psychology behind this. And I think for all of us, at the root, if you're really passionate about the mortgage industry, it is that the part of helping people and to achieve financial success and really building a legacy for their future. For most Americans, it happens through home ownership.
Right, because when they buy their home, they might not buy it for this reason. They might not buy it thinking that they're trying to break through barriers or change their children's futures. They're buying it for a place to live. But in paying for a place to live, all of a sudden, they're realizing amortization gains, appreciation gains. There's a mental security that comes with owning your home. And you start to make decisions differently because you have peace of mind and you're not worried about things you used to worry about. It opens doors. It makes you believe in possibilities.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of psychology going on here. What and how does your background in psychology impact your business today?
So any loan officer or realtor listening to this knows that we kind of act like therapists, untrained, uncredentialed therapists, because people fight about money in our offices all the time. We come across spouses who are lying to each other, keeping secrets, who don't have, their goals don't align. Like he's ready to buy right now. She's not. She wants this massive house. He's not ready. There's families dealing with generational trauma. There's boomers wanting to pass down their wealth, but not wanting their kids to be entitled. They're like, should I make them wait till I die to get this money? Or can I give them the money to make a down payment so I can see my grandkids running around in the yard? Families are coming to get a mortgage with financial trauma, with a relationship with money that already exists. And loan officers and realtors are dealing with this without any training. I thought, well, if I can learn more about psychology and what influences people's decisions, everyone knows there's a psychology of sales, right? But I would also be able to help people with their relationship with money.
Yeah. Wow. Give me an example of, and immediately I think there's two ways that it's going to impact that transaction with those individuals. Number one, you're probably able to give them better advice because you're looking deeper than the typical loan officer would look, and you're looking at different, I don't know, elements of their situation. Then there's the other part of it where it may drive some of your success as well, right? In terms of attracting customers, referral partners. Talk to me a little bit about both of those.
Well, I think with the attracting people, I wanted to do that. I wanted to attract people who wanted to work with me so that I didn't have to feel like I'm going out and begging for business all the time. I would love it if when people reach out to me, they've already kind of been exposed to my mission and they align with it. And then we can have a better working relationship. I've also found that in being enthusiastic about feminism or being enthusiastic about helping people break through socioeconomic barriers, it doesn't actually repel anyone else. Like I am specific about my niche, but I've found, and my numbers have been pulled, I work with more men and families and couples than single women.
Interesting.
So even though I'm passionate about helping a certain demographic, it hasn't stopped me from helping everyone else either. And what was the first part of your question?
Well, the element of really being able to better serve that client because you're digging a little bit deeper. You're looking for certain elements in their life that allows you to better serve them. So
I realized that when people were coming in to us, they were coming in from a place of being uncomfortable, right? Like you're about to get a financial colonoscopy. It's not like enjoyable for anyone, right?
No part of it.
And so I started to like pay more attention to what it's like to be in their seat, to feel like they're about to be judged, to maybe be concerned that they don't have what they should have at this stage of life. And that probably comes from a history that I'm not going to get into during this 1 hour appointment, but I can be aware of it. And in being aware that they're coming to the table, not just to ask me about a mortgage product, but with all this history and a relationship with money and financial objectives that have been taught to them and have served them and some that haven't before they got to my seat, got to my office and are sitting across the table from me, it helps me understand that sometimes what they're telling me is their objection isn't actually the challenge in the room. It's not what's stopping them from making the move forward. Like, for example, we'll hear from people all the time, I don't want to buy at the top of the market and have my home value go down.
Sure. Who does?
And I thought about that though. Maybe they don't realize that if the value of their home goes down after they buy, nothing happens. The bank doesn't come and take their baby's crib and put it outside in the rain. Like,
that's a good point.
It's my job to make sure you can afford that payment. So if the value goes down, I don't think it's going to, and I will show you the data on the history of real estate, but I'm not going to lead with that. I'm going to first try to figure out what your real fear is here. because the bank is not going to take away your house. You just have to keep making a payment.
Well, you made that point earlier that we do act as therapists to a certain degree. And so I can picture your experience behind the scenes, and the ability to understand those fears and address them, really help bond you to that client. I mean, that's the kind of person that you would want to work with. And then from the referral partner side, knowing that I'm going to send my client to someone like you who's going to take great care in addressing their fears, answering their questions, really diving deep into the situation. Again, that's the person I want to work with.
Right around the time that I'm realizing this is when Rocket is launching their online application.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, this computer is going to come replace me. And I'm not going to be needed because they can just press button, get pre-approved. They're not going to need my advice anymore. And it's going to be so fast and painless. And this is not recent. This is like 5 years ago now. And I'm like, I'm going to go get a master's in marriage and family therapy so that I can offer something that the app on their phone can't offer. So I can really help them heal their relationship with money. I can help them with the relationship dynamics they're dealing with in the room, at least when it comes to money. And I'll have behavioral finance on my side. I'll have it in my skill set to help them get across the finish line with this home, and then hopefully the journey that I've sold them on about real estate investing.
Yeah, what an incredible tool to have in your toolbox, right? So I don't want to just gloss over that. In all that you have going on, being number one loan officer at AWM, mom to 3, wife, the whole thing that you're doing, you went out and got a master's degree.
Well, I did say 5 years ago. It's a 2-year program that I've been at for 5 years.
But you got through it.
Listen, it's the beginning of 2020. It's kind of slow. Yeah. And I'm like, now seems like a good time.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Little did you know
what happened in March of 2020. All the wheels came off the bus. The pandemic hits. It's like real estate gets busier than it's ever been. Mm-hmm. But in fairness, what also happened is the world shut down, right? So I wasn't taking realtors out to lunch anymore. I wasn't going to networking events. I could just be ass in seat from 8 to 8 and get work done. And I have time to get through my classes. I was in 2 classes at a time then. And so I would just write my papers. I could be hyper-focused on the business and taking care of people without so many social pressures that it still worked out. It's just once the world started to reopen and we needed to do events again and be out face-to-face, I slowed down to only taking 1 class at a time. Yeah. Then I had a surprise baby. And so then I took a year off from school. Then when I came back, my program requires you to travel and show up in person. I didn't want to do that till I was done nursing. So then classes got spaced out and taken out of order. But now I'm finally graduating in December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I feel like I deserve a parade.
Is it for you? Like, I mean, obviously you're an accomplished individual. Was it the challenge for you? What set you on that path?
I really wanted to learn the skills.
Okay.
Like I really wanted to learn about emotional intelligence. I really wanted to learn about why people are the way they are. I wanted to learn about why some people have a scarcity mindset when it comes to money and why other people take risks and get big rewards. I wanted to understand how this all plays together because I think the human mind is a crazy place, right? But what I've learned is there's so much hope and potential because we have neuroplasticity to our brain. It can be rewired. We can change.
Are you saying that you can teach an old dog new tricks?
Yes. It's wild because—
You should tell Ann that.
I don't want to give her false hope, okay? It requires a lot of skills.
Okay.
But you can rewire the brain. They've studied this with trauma clients. They've studied this with mental illness. You can, through patterns and knowledge and awareness, you can rewire your brain to be whatever kind of person you want to be.
That's incredible. How has this changed your marketing strategy at all? You have a very large online presence. You've built an amazing brand, which is recognizable. Has any of that education changed your approach to marketing?
Yeah, I think in a huge way. And I think of marketing because of my master's program, not just as social media, not just as public speaking events. Like I think of marketing as me sitting with you. Well, we're recording a podcast right now, so that makes sense. Yeah. But like when a client comes in one-on-one, I believe that's marketing. When I'm at school picking up my kids, I believe that's marketing. When I answer a phone call from a realtor, I believe all of this is part of my marketing strategy. And I want it all to be in alignment with my mission. And so there's different little skills I've learned to unlock trust with people. There's skills I've learned to truly hear people and see people in the room. I think that conversationally, we have a lot of bad habits that as therapists kind of get trained out of you because it's not my job as a therapist to tell you what to do. It is my job as a loan officer to tell you what to do. But as with the background in therapy, it allows me to hold space for you and to truly understand what your situation is, what your goals are, what your history is. And then that enables me as a loan officer to give you better advice. When I translate that into my marketing online, I'm not trying to present myself as a certain person. I'm not trying to present myself like the other loan officers marketing themselves or influencers and the way they show up. I'm trying to position myself as the person you can trust to accomplish your goal, which would be socioeconomic mobility.
Yeah, very interesting. So switching gears a little bit, not that you don't have enough on your plate, you made the decision to start coaching loan officers and coaching realtors. What was behind that decision?
So over time, I looked at what I had done in my business before starting my master's program. And there was certain steps I took to start positioning myself, to start growing a brand, to start showing up in my business in a way that was not just possible to do as a mom, because I think that doesn't get talked about enough. I'll talk to loan officers who've been in the business decades longer than me, and they say they got into this industry because it would be flexible and they could be with their kids. And I'm like, huh? Like, this does not feel like the job designed for a mom in my generation. It is so demanding. You have to be constantly available. You know, if I would argue that if someone was talking to you and they heard a kid in the background, they'd be like, oh, that's great. What a hands-on dad. Yeah. They hear my kid in the background. They're like, are you watching the bonds? Like, is my loan in the right hands?
Well, that double standard there, right?
And I think that some of this was born out of just a need to survive in a world that I don't believe was designed for working moms.
Okay.
And so I started putting together this system. Then I get my master's and I learn about psychology and emotional intelligence and the brain, and I developed the rest of the system. I made it into an 8-step system for people to find a way that they could find their unique value proposition, use it in their one-to-one sales, use it in their business practices, and use it in their marketing, and show up in a way that would feel authentic to them. Because if I look at all the coaches who've been around forever, like the dinosaurs in the business, all they are telling loan officers and realtors to do is thicken your skin, toughen up, knock on enough doors until the right doors start opening. Like, it's nothing about who you are as a person. It's nothing about the unique skill set you bring to the table. It's just follow these metrics, hit these numbers, you'll succeed if you just follow the system.
That's a great point. It's a one size fits all.
Yes.
Which really is outdated.
It's not going to work anymore either because of the way the industry is changing. And people don't want to be sold anymore. People want to be seen. And so I wanted to create a system for the few loan officers and realtors out there who wanted to do business my way. And I know that you can do it the proven way. And I know that it's fine. I know it works. We've seen some of the biggest producers in the country tout these systems that are just centered around discipline and accountability. I know those things work. But I also think there's another way to do this that can feel a lot more authentic to you and a lot more genuine to the person on the other side.
Yeah. Wow. So taking all of the experience that you've gained over the years of doing the business, the psychology aspect of it, the marketing, branding aspect of it, kind of putting that into one. I don't know. I guess it's unique, but also it seems like it's able to laser focus on the individual, really sort of tailoring it to the person that you're speaking to, the person that you're coaching, versus, again, like I said earlier, just a one size fits all program.
Because I think we don't feel comfortable selling things. Like, we don't want to be viewed as a salesperson. Mm-hmm. But if you have an approach that's tailored to the needs of the person you're meeting with, and if you've learned how to do your business in a way that can be very sincere, specific advice to the person sitting across from you. I mean, that's a big challenge that I'm posing to you, right? For you to be able to give specific advice to every single client, because every single client has different finances, right? That's an overwhelming challenge that I'm putting on you. But if I can help you find business practices that align with your core values, you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you won't be scared to put your name on your advice because you believe in it.
Mm-hmm. And it won't be I don't know. I guess a lot of times when we get involved in sales, it's not who we are, so it feels it's not authentic, right?
It feels slimy.
And I think all of us struggle in those situations to perform, to really kind of capitalize on that. And I think if it's something that we're passionate about, finding that passion, finding the reasons why you are doing what you're doing, that's really, I think we can just be so much better at our jobs when we feel that way.
Yeah, because you're not trying to fit a square peg into a round hole anymore.
Yeah.
I get this argument with social media all the time. I don't want to do it. It's not me. I don't want to show up like that. I'm like, all I'm asking you to do is be yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
Just be the version of yourself that you really believe in, that you feel sincere about being. All that takes then is a little bit of awareness, introspection, and then practice of doing that on camera, because that takes reps.
So let's talk a little bit about what's next for you and for us, AWM, as an organization. I'm very excited that you have taken on the role, agreed to, and we're partnering together as you coming on as Chief Performance Officer.
It's a big deal.
What a fantastic thing that's going to be. What has made you decide to kind of take your expertise and your passion to AWM as opposed to working with the outside world?
Well, I think in doing this program and in taking so long to get it done, and everyone asking me over and over, like, what are you going to do with this? Like, you're not going to leave your mortgage business and go be a therapist. Mm-hmm. Like, what's the reality here? And then also realizing how the industry is going to continue to change, right? And how we'll always be slapped upside the head with some new challenge. I had this like pipe dream because I watched the show Billions.
Sure.
And I saw this company
Me too.
that had a psychologist on staff that was there to invest in their top performers. And I also feel passionate about what's being expected of us in our role as loan officers today and the pressure that's on us. And I thought, okay, this is a very unique skill set and history that I have of being a top producer in this market right now who wants to approach coaching in a way different than all the other dinosaurs that came before me, and having a trauma therapy, psychologically informed approach to it, because I am trained as a marriage and family therapist. What if I combine this and I can do performance coaching for all Western Mortgage? When I told you about this, I remember you were so open-minded to it. I was shocked. Like, I told you needed to sit down. You're like, no, I'm fine. I tell you the whole plan and you're like, okay, I'm on board. And I was like, is this real? Like, you see my vision and you want to do this? That was shocking to me.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. We work very hard here at AWM to offer a lot of support. And typically that support, and this goes for any mortgage company, but the support revolves around technology, products,
right,
underwriting, that type of mechanical support. But nobody is supporting this aspect of the business, right? So tell me a little bit about what you're excited about here.
Because nobody has ever done this. As you said, this is a first of its kind initiative on emotional resilience in the mortgage space, because we're investing in the actual people here. So many mortgage companies are investing in techs to blow me up, to look at my commission and to help me get more business, or this lead magnet program. Nobody's talking about what the loan officer is going through mentally on a day-to-day basis. No one's talking about how much their mindset and perspective impacts them, impacts their families, impacts their clients, and therefore the entire community they serve. No one is taking a systemic approach to this and looking at it the way a therapist would. A marriage and family therapist believes that no individual piece of the puzzle is operating in isolation. No one is suffering alone. They're part of a greater system. And if you can improve the entire system, everything gets better for everyone. Similar to my approach to feminism.
Yeah.
So in us looking at the individuals working here and wanting to help them from the inside out, it changes the game. It's going to change the game for the whole industry, because we're going to give them not just staying power. We're going to give them not accountability coaching. We're going to teach them how to withstand market cycles with emotional resilience.
Both good and bad, right? Because let's face it, we talk a lot about the challenges of this industry. It's a straight commission environment.
Yeah.
The stakes are high. The rewards can be high as well, but it can be a roller coaster ride. And I've never felt like that the majority of us are not really, we're not really built to withstand that type of those types of ups and downs without really suffering.
No human being is. It's unrealistic. We do attract a certain type of individual. It's exactly what you're saying with the roller coaster. We attract an individual who wants to get on that ride, who likes the highest of highs and can withstand really low lows. But the thing is they shouldn't have to. We shouldn't be expected day in and day out as loan officers to keep showing up in the same way with all the challenges that the market is throwing at us. And we are giving people advice on one of the largest financial moves they're going to make. They deserve to be getting that advice from somebody who's taken care of, who is mentally taken care of.
So now, earlier, you and I were talking about this concept of emotional resilience. And again, we touched on it here. It's this concept of being able really to weather anything that comes, the future of this business. We're all concerned about AI. We're concerned about where the 10-year treasury is. It's, you name it, we're concerned. But what does emotional resilience mean to you?
To me, it's about you have done enough introspection, and with help, you gained enough awareness. You know who you are. The inside is whole. And so then what's happening on the outside isn't always jerking at your insides. You have tolerance. You've built the capacity to sustain stress. You've built the capacity to truly enjoy the good times. You've built the capacity to really withstand whatever's going to be thrown at you. And I believe in our industry, sure, there's other industries that are stressful. I believe our industry is one that truly warrants that you be like good inside, that you be mentally strong, that you be ready. And there's athletes, you were telling me. I don't know a lot about sports, but there's athletes, you said, who have performance coaches.
Absolutely.
What we do, to me, in my opinion, is way more impactful in people's lives. We should have a performance coach.
Yes. So let me share something about myself with you. Maybe you can, not that I need a therapy session, I probably do. But
that would be a fun episode.
I mentioned my wife, Ann. She always tells me that I don't take time to enjoy the wins, the victories, right? So my tendency is, okay, we had a great month, or we did something monumental within the organization. And by the time it happens, I've already put it away and I'm on to the next thing. And I never get to really enjoy the good moments and the wins that we experience.
And then you may not be realizing this, but it's a really important piece of the puzzle to your stamina. And your ability to keep going is allowing yourself, forcing yourself, if necessary, to enjoy those moments. Because you have this like cup inside that you're constantly filling and drawing from. And I don't think that we spend enough time asking ourselves, have we filled it enough? Have we fueled ourselves enough?
I know I don't.
To keep going. And I don't think that it's realistic, and I don't think that it's fair, and I don't think it's sustainable to keep going like that. I think there's a better way, and we all deserve it. And I'm really excited for everyone at All Western to be able to experience that.
How do you see this changing the approach for the average loan officer? What, in your eyes, what would be a success?
Every loan officer has a different challenge, right? They all have a different skill set. Some of them are really good at guidelines. Some of them are really good at marketing. Some of them are great at going out and talking to realtors and getting the business. Others are really good at pushing the business through. I want to help them lean into their strengths while being aware of what causes them to feel triggered, what causes them to feel insecure, and helping them address both sides. I'm not going to say that you have to do social media if you hate that, but I'm going to help you figure out why you hate it. I don't want you to have a roadblock. If you choose not to do it, don't do it. But don't sit and tell me you can't do it, because I've got a problem with that. I want to help you figure out why you believe that. Because if I can remove these barriers, I can help you exit these mental cul-de-sacs where you waste time spinning on something you know you should be doing in your business, and you keep circling the drain on it, and then you push it out of your mind because you're not ready or you have some issue with it. That time you're spending in that cul-de-sac is wasting brain space for where you could be inspired on something that would really move the needle in your business. I think that I can help people identify their skill sets in such a way that they break through all these mental roadblocks. If they break through mental roadblocks and they have more mental clarity, 100% they're executing at a higher level. That might mean more closed loans.
Yep.
I'm sure that'll make you stoked if there's more closed loans. But I also know they're going to have the ability to stay in this business. They're going to avoid burnout. They're going to avoid a divorce. They're going to avoid a mental breakdown. We saw that happen to a lot of loan officers over the past few years. Suicide rates were being studied for loan officers. Like, this is serious. Then look outside our industry. There is such a strong correlation between housing affordability and mental health that researchers have called it a mental health equity issue. Like, they're urging lawmakers to treat this issue, housing affordability, as a health equity issue. So think about what we're working in. Like, for ourselves, the pressure we're under, what we're doing for clients, it is all so impactful and important. I could see this improving things on a systemic level. I could see it improving everything.
Wow, I love it. You know, the thing, you talked about closing more loans, and yes, that's exciting. But what, for me, what it means, it's a byproduct of something much more important, which is the growth of that individual, right? That's really what it's about. We talked about culture a lot. And I tease about this on social media. It's not just what you put on a coffee mug or a ping pong table in the break room. And I see this as an extension of that. It's us investing in our people. You said it earlier, those that are already here and those that may decide to join us in the future. But really, it's that investment in our people, to continue to build that strong culture that we already have. How do you see that fitting in?
That's the reason I brought it to you, because in my 12 years here, I've seen the culture. I've experienced what's important. I've seen the way that we operate more like a family. I work with my family. I don't know anything different. But the people here, like you, Jeff, Lisa, they've become my family too. And so I know there's a level of care that's going on amongst the people here that you would be open to investing in something like this, and at such a large scale. So when I envision the culture at All Western, to me, it seems if we care about our people, then you would be 100% open into investing in their mindset, investing in their emotional intelligence skills so that they can operate on a day-to-day basis with more peace and more power.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They'll go hand in hand.
I think there's also, to me, some ulterior motive, and we'll just be honest about that. I believe that you're going to help us figure out whether there's friction points within the company, areas that we need to improve. And I think that that's an important aspect of the role as well, because obviously, if you're able to have a conversation and solve a problem for somebody, that plays into their whole success as well, right? So talk to me a little bit about that and how you see that in terms of your contribution to the overall organization.
I want to make it run better for everyone. Like you said, friction, and you're on this mission right now to remove friction points within the company.
Fight the friction.
Yeah. I think that takes a level of communication between people, but I genuinely believe the people we have here, and if we're going to shoot really for the stars, people in general, they want to communicate and work with other people better. They want to have more meaningful relationships. They want to have more articulated conversations. They want the skill set they need to get along with other people better and to work towards goals, shared goals, and get there in a faster, more efficient, peaceful way. So I'm excited to be now on the inside of things and get to know what's going on and what are the changes we're trying to make and how can I help with how this will be received psychologically? How can I help with the best way to roll it out? Because the thing about people, Ryan Leake says this best, and I just read his book, people are complicated. And if we just accept that people are complicated instead of fighting it, everybody could be happier. So we can be the first mortgage company that just accepts that people are complicated.
Yes.
And figure out a way to still get towards our goals, to still be on our mission.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too that my frustrations when it comes to communication and people interacting is that, people do leave All Western from time to time. I think we do a good job at holding on to our good people, but ultimately, I feel like if we would have had the opportunity to communicate with them prior, and not everybody's comfortable having that conversation. Some people don't want confrontation. They don't know how to reach out and express their concerns. But ultimately, if we just had an opportunity to speak with them about the problems, the struggles that they may be having, more than likely we could have figured it out.
But the truth is, All Western is operating at a very high level and now moving into the next phase of this industry. We're not going to be the right place for everyone.
True.
There's people who are going to be on this mission with us and there's people who aren't. But what you're saying, and that we want to have a place where communication can always happen, I think that's a pivotal part of where we're going. We do want to be the place where you can always come and where you can speak about what really is important to you and you can feel heard, but more importantly, be seen. Mm-hmm. And know that we are truly working as hard as we possibly can to understand your point of view.
Having a voice, right?
Yeah.
Really is what we're talking about.
And everyone has a voice, but we want to empower them to be able to use it in a productive way. We want to give them the opportunity.
Yeah. And
then we want to empower them to use their voice. If they want to come with us on that journey, it's going to be great. If they don't want to, then that's okay.
Why did you, because you were the driving force behind this, I'm not going to take that credit. Why did you feel it was important to do this on a large scale versus maybe starting in a small pilot type program. What was your vision behind that?
I took my own medicine and I did some introspection on what makes me feel the most inspired. I like to be a part of a team. I'm an extremely loyal person. I like to be a part of something bigger. I want to be working in the collective towards a shared goal. So I thought, if I approach Chris and Jeff with this and they are on board, then we can be in alignment towards a shared goal. And we can keep bringing more and more people on board with this mission of creating the loan officer of the future. The loan officer who has emotional resilience, the loan officer who's truly self-aware, who has advanced emotional intelligence skills. It could improve the entire industry. And I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I need a place to pilot it. And you're giving me that opportunity. And it's a win-win.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. I'm extremely excited. Before we wrap this up, I want to kind of get your top 1 or 2 goals for all of this. So when we sit down here a year from now and we talk about what we've done, what you've accomplished, what we've accomplished in this program, what would be most important to you?
When I thought about this, right, as I've been putting it together, and there's going to be learning curves for us, right? Because I've never done this before. All Western's never done this before. We're going to do it together. And it's going to be amazing, but we're going to learn things as we go. I came to you and I kept talking about how hard the industry has been for the last few years and the toll it's taken on people on both sides, the consumer and the loan officer. But you shifted my perspective towards, let's look at the future. Let's look at all the changes that are coming for this industry and what an amazing time this is right now to invest in people like this so that they have the skills they need going forward. And I think that's the most powerful part about this, is that we are going into a time where the loan officer is going to be filling a whole different role. They're going to have a different set of requirements. They're going to have a different value proposition. They're going to have so much more opportunity to create change for people, for the consumer, and to help them financially. If we can set them up with more skills to be successful, it's just going to be amazing. It's good. Like, there's not even words to describe how powerful that could be.
Well, that's a great note for us to end on. I don't think I could say it any better. Can't tell you how excited I am to kick this off and to really watch the success of what we're going to be implementing, the path that we're on. I just think it's the right thing for us to be doing. And you are the right person to be leading the charge. So thank you for joining me today, Shivani.
Thank you.